Most men think semen retention is just about testosterone, about energy levels, about discipline, about the physical mechanics of holding back a liquid that could have been released. But they never realize the real transformation is invisible. It is social. It is the subtle rearrangement of how people see you and how you see them. A silent advantage that no one understands until they witness the strange shifts happening all around them when they stop spilling their seed. Suddenly the world feels different. Women look at you differently. Men treat you differently. Even strangers who don't know your name begin to sense something in the air, something in your eyes, something in your aura, as if your presence itself has gained weight. As if you have stopped being just another man in the background and started radiating an intensity that people cannot ignore. This is where the social advantage begins, because people do not respond to words. They respond to signals. Signals that are older than speech, older than civilization, signals that are written into the chemistry of our biology and the fabric of our psychology. Semen retention makes those signals scream louder than anything you could ever say. Suddenly, you are harder to dismiss, harder to mock, harder to underestimate. You command space without asking for it. You command respect without demanding it. You command curiosity without chasing it. And this subtle shift is something most men never experience, because they drain themselves daily into the abyss of screens, tissues, and meaningless releases. They never know that the very energy they are throwing away is the same energy that could make them socially magnetic, spiritually untouchable, and psychologically grounded. But if you are here watching this, you probably already suspect that something deeper is happening. You've probably already felt that women smile longer at you, that men look twice before challenging you, that your words land differently when you speak. This is not coincidence. It is the natural reaction to the silent reservoir of power inside you. And before we continue, let me invite you to join our Telegram channel. The link is in the description below. That is where the deeper conversations are happening. That is where men like you are breaking free from the lies of modern culture and sharing their raw experiences of transformation. If you are serious about this journey, that is where you belong. Now back to the invisible social advantage that no one understands. When you retain, your eyes change first. They stop being the eyes of a consumer, desperate and begging for attention. They become the eyes of a creator, calm, steady, unblinking. Eyes that seem to pierce through masks. People feel that. They feel naked in front of you. They feel seen in a way they are not used to. This makes them either want to run from you or get closer to you. But they never ignore you. This is power. The greatest form of influence is simply being someone who cannot be ignored. Someone who shifts the atmosphere in a room without speaking a word. Semen retention does exactly that. It creates an aura of tension around you. The same tension that women crave in a man because it makes them feel alive. It's the same tension that men respect in another man because it signals discipline, willpower, and unbreakable focus. This tension is not fake. It cannot be faked. It is not some trick or hack. It is the natural consequence of holding in your life force, the very essence that could create another human being. When you keep that inside you, the energy does not just sit still. It circulates. It rises. It fills your posture, sharpens your voice. It hardens your gaze. It makes your hand shake heavier. Every single one of these signals changes your social interactions. People suddenly start deferring to you, not because you asked, but because something about you feels like leadership. Something about you feels like authority. Something about you feels untouchable. Society is structured to respond to that instinctively, even if people do not consciously know why, because we are still animals under the suits and smartphones. We are still tribal creatures who sense dominance, vitality, fertility, and power in ways that go beyond words. Semen retention tunes you back into that primal broadcast. It makes you resonate at a frequency that modern men have lost. When you return to it, everyone around you notices, even if they do not understand it. Women begin to orbit you. It's not because of pickup lines, not because of fake charisma, but because your presence radiates fertility and restraint at the same time. Paradox that makes them curious. Most men radiate desperation. They leak their hunger. They show their emptiness. But you stand there, filled, overflowing. Yet contained, that is irresistible. It triggers the ancient feminine instinct to test, to flirt, to chase, to want to unlock what you are guarding. Men also sense it. They may feel threatened. They may feel drawn. They may feel respect. but they cannot help but react. Because semen retention makes you the man who is no longer invisible in a sea of invisible men. The social advantage is not about becoming popular, it is about becoming undeniable. It is about having a gravity field that pulls others into your orbit. This changes every dynamic, whether it is at work, in friendships, in family, or in public. You suddenly notice that people explain themselves to you more. They justify their actions around you. They want your approval. You did not even ask for it. It just happens. It's because semen retention makes you the reference point in every interaction. The anchor, the silent authority. Here is the deeper mystery. The social advantage is not just external. It begins with how you perceive yourself. When you hold your seed, you stop being a beggar for validation. You stop chasing crumbs of attention. You stop lowering yourself for quick pleasure. This self-respect radiates outwards. Others can only treat you at the level you treat yourself. When you carry yourself like a man who guards his life force, others sense that they cannot treat you cheaply. They cannot waste your time. They cannot play with you like they play with ordinary men. This changes your entire social ecosystem. It filters out the parasites. It filters out the manipulators. It filters out the shallow. It magnetizes the serious, the loyal, the valuable. Because people want to stand near the fire that does not burn out. They want to stand near the man whose energy seems endless. You become that man when you stop leaking your soul every night into darkness. The reason no one understands this is because society has programmed men to laugh at it, to dismiss it as superstition, to reduce it to hormones. Because if men realized the social power hidden in semen retention, they would become ungovernable. They would stop being slaves of the marketplace of lust. They would stop being manipulated by flashing skin and shallow dopamine. They would rise above the game entirely. That is dangerous to the systems that profit from weak men. So they keep you in ignorance. But if you are listening now, you already know something is changing. You already feel the difference. You are beginning to realize that semen retention is not just about personal discipline. It is about social dominance. It is about reclaiming the authority that has been stolen from men for centuries. It is about stepping back into the role of the one who leads, not the one who follows. The one who dictates the rhythm of interaction instead of being dictated to. The one who sets the tone in every room he enters. This is the silent advantage that cannot be explained in textbooks, cannot be quantified in labs, but can only be lived by those who dare to retain. If you are ready to keep walking this path, to discover more than just the shallow benefits, then your social life will transform in ways you cannot predict. Every day you hold your seed, you become less of a boy and more of a man. Less of a follower and more of a leader. Less of a consumer and more of a creator. The world responds to creators with reverence, with fear, with desire, with respect. That is the social advantage no one will tell you about, because they want you blind. But now your eyes are opening. There is no turning back. If this message resonated with you, remember that every piece of content we create requires effort, energy, and time. If you want to support us, please contribute using the thanks button below. Every contribution, no matter how small, helps us keep producing content that wakes men up and brings the truth back into light.